The Contenders looked like contenders in week 8 of the NFL season, some blowouts, and the Jets get their first win, and a whole lot more on today's Peacock and Williamson.
NFL analyst Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Matt Williamson bring you expert NFL analysis every day in less than 30 minutes. Get an inside look at the NFL on the field and in the front office with elite breakdowns to next-level analysis and in-depth information only for the real NFL fans. This is Peacock and Williamson, and it starts now.
Welcome to the Peacock and Williamson NFL Show. Brian Peacock alongside Matt Williamson at BD Peacock at Williamson NFL. Thanks, everybody, for stopping in and making us your first listen on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Appreciate our everydayers, and for our everydayers and for our new listeners alike, please subscribe. And you are going to want to stay subscribed because we have some big news about the format of this show. Peacock and Williamson aren't going anywhere, but the name of the show is going to change. The format of the show is going to change starting tomorrow, Tuesday, October 28th. So don't be shocked if it looks a little different. And in your podcast feeds, whether it's on YouTube or wherever you listen, it's going to be a little different look. It's going to be the same hosts, though. The NFL Six Pack. It's a daily show, cool. And we look at the league in 6 different angles, and we've been doing our 6-pack of picks for a long time, and we're going to do the whole format of this show around a daily 6-pack involving 6 different angles in the NFL, and it should be a lot of fun. So hope you all stay along for the ride for that, and tell a friend, and we'll get some more listeners as well joining in every day to what used to be the Peacock and Williamson NFL Show. This is the last official episode of the named episodes of Peacock and Williamson. It will now be, and forever more, the NFL 6-pack with Brian Peacock and Matt Williamson. So more on that a little bit later.
Pretty psyched about it, BP. And we're going to streamline things, really attack just a couple things as opposed to being so broad. And I was just sitting here thinking, I was born on 6/6, and 6 is my favorite number. So, good karma. Let's go.
Good karma. NFL 6-pack in your feed, so don't be alarmed starting Tuesday. We've got some big games to cover and some teams that are starting to show themselves as the better teams in the NFL and teams that you can believe in week in and week out. And things got a little weird to start the season. We start to know a lot more about these football teams now as we get into the meat of the season, the middle of the season, the trade deadline coming. Tomorrow's episode is going to be a lot about the trades to come and some trades that have already happened in the NFL as the deadline heats up this week. But a team that is not contending, congratulations to the New York Jets, who get their first win of the NFL season in week 8, defeating the Cincinnati Bengals 39-38, a comeback win, 23 fourth quarter points for those Jets. And maybe a little even emotional Justin Fields after he was supposed to be benched, ended up being the guy in this game to lead the Jets to their first win this season. Aaron Glenn gets his first win as head coach of the New York Jets.
Yeah, and I thought Fields played very well. Yeah, he didn't turn the ball over, didn't take any sacks. Now, I think the Bengals defense, and Hendrickson got hurt in this game. And speaking of trade deadline, what direction do you go if you're the Bengals? But I do think the Bengals defense is quite poor. But I thought Fields responded to adversity very, very well. They run for 254 yards on the ground here. I mean, I don't think anyone questioned the Jets, despite all their hardships this year, if they could run the football. I mean, that's what they're designed to do. And good for them. I don't think they're a contender, but they're obviously they're not a contender, but it's a nice step in the right direction.
They had 50-yarder, 35-yarder, 25-yarder in this game. Brothers Breece Hall, Isaiah Davis, Isaiah Williams all had big runs. Justin Fields obviously is going to be a part of that, but he wasn't even the main part of the running game here.
No.
For the New York Jets in this game, and showed a little something on both sides of the ball. We're able to come back, and the Bengals are out to an early lead as well. And so good on the Jets for getting their first win.
Didn't have Garrett Wilson, didn't have Sauce Gardner. I mean, they don't have a lot of star power, and they were missing a lot of it.
And then they might lose some power because I think they're one team, the New York Jets are, that could be sending some players elsewhere over the course of the next week. at the trade deadline, which is just after week 9. So we have about a week before the November 4th trade deadline here, just after the week 9 schedule. And we'll probably have a lot of trades happening this week leading up to week 9 as well, both the Jets and the Bengals. This might signal a sell-off for the Bengals as well with the loss here.
I think it should, or definitely a loss next week should.
Yes, 3-5. They go to 3-6. And, you're not going to get Burrow back in time to do anything for you this year if you get him back at all. And of course, we know the Jets aren't going to go anywhere this year after an 0-7 start, now 1-7. At least they have one win under their belt, though, and join a couple other teams with one win on the NFL season. One of those teams, Matt, that only has one win and continues to have one win is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are good. The Saints are not. And that's what the scoreboard told us. 23-3 was the final here. Bucs 6-2. Saints fall to 1-7.
My two big takeaways from this one are really strong business trip on the road in the division. Everyone knows you're the better team, but you didn't stumble. It was never really in jeopardy. And then the other side of it was, I think a benching is a strong word for Rattler. I think it's more of, you just got to see what you have in Shuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to talk about Cleveland maybe making a quarterback change too, in a similar vein, that these bad teams at least have to know, do we have a chance to have a guy in-house already, And
you're looking at the NFL draft, and with the Jets winning that game, and so now we got 3 teams at 1-7 after 8 weeks of the season, and one of those is the Tennessee Titans.
They're horrible.
Who got blown out by the Indianapolis Colts. 38-14 the final there. So we had best versus worst as far as NFL records go. 7-1 Colts now, 1-7 Titans. And the story in this game was just, the way that Jonathan Taylor's going crazy on the ground. He only needed 12 carries to amass 153 yards and a couple of scores on the ground.
So the Colts come to Pittsburgh next week, and I always start breaking down the opponent Monday morning. Man, I mean, the Taylor stuff is off the charts impressive. I think you've mentioned this before. I think Steichen is pretty clearly coach of the year at this point. Taylor's pretty clearly offensive player of the year at this point, not to mention Pittman, Downs. I mean, they got Warren, they got weapons everywhere, and the defense is good enough. And they blow people out. I mean, the Titans are a really terrible team. Didn't have Jeffrey Simmons, didn't have Ridley. I mean, they only have a couple good players to begin with. I'm not sure that Tennessee wins another game.
And we are not allowed to play NFL films and videos on this channel, but I got a still frame for you. Here's a photograph, and I can't remember the last time one single
pretty good hole
photo told the story of a football game. This was Colts Titans on Sunday, and a lot of people say that the layperson couldn't gain a yard in the NFL. The layperson could gain a yard behind the Colts offensive line against the Tennessee Titans. You could pick your vehicle through that hole.
Yeah. I mean, those two safeties would blow me apart as soon as I got that yard, but that's
Correct.
about as far as I would get the yard.
You go into the tent after that yard, but you.
Oh yeah, I'm sliding or getting down, but yeah, I get the yard.
Oh man, so that is the story of the Colts and the Titans on this Sunday. Some more blowouts this week, and some good against bad that I want to highlight here. How about the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah,
blowing out the Falcons. And the Dolphins were supposed to be the bad team, and the Falcons were supposed to be the good team a couple weeks ago. The Falcons looked bad. And I want to talk about the Houston Texans, who beat up on the 49ers this week. The Niners beat the Falcons last week, and I don't know how the Falcons and the Texans have the same record, because I saw these two teams, multiple times, watched the game back in the all 22. The Texans are so much better across the board than the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know how the Falcons were 3-2 at one point this season. They're not a good football team. They don't have that much talent there. I don't like their quarterback play. And I can't believe the Dolphins would thump anybody at this point in the season, but they did so to the Falcons. And we saw Kirk Cousins at quarterback for Atlanta.
Atlanta's defense is starting to turn back into a pumpkin, as it so often does. It's had flashes over the last 20 years, but then all of a sudden, their tackling was poor. Their run defense was poor. I thought Cousins might make them a better team. He didn't. No Drake London was obviously a factor as well. But to me, there are a couple things that this game really came down to was the run game. I mean, Miami consistently ran the football. Atlanta, even with Bijan, didn't didn't bear any fruit on the ground. And say what you want about Miami, and they very well could get fired, and they're not in a good place. But they are still kind of dangerous. Waddle and Achan and, the head coach's mind. And I thought Tua played a really strong game. Like, they can score points.
One more blowout. Some other games that maybe the scoreboard doesn't look quite blowoutish, but it felt that way with the Bills, the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
The Bills coming up strong after a bye. And I mentioned the Texans, 49ers. I want to talk about this Texans football team, which might be a sleeping giant if they can figure a couple of things out. And maybe your MVP, young Drake May, and Myles Garrett going crazy, but it didn't matter. We got a lot to get to here on this Monday episode of Peacock, the final episode of Peacock and Williamson. Today's episode of Peacock and Williamson is brought to you by Prize Picks. And with Prize Picks, you can make real cash, all for just being right. And we make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sporting season, whether you're following the NFL, the NBA, or both. There's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you can win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make yourself a lineup. You can make multiple lineups, and you can play anywhere Prize Picks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Prize Picks is awesome for football Sundays, of course, but NBA season as well is now up and running, and it keeps every game exciting throughout your week. And how's this for a feature? If one of your players leaves the game during the game with an injury, the injury reboot feature saves your lineup from a loss. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. Guys, let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard all of the excuses before. It's just stress. I'm tired. It happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. And Rugiet could not be simpler. A board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, private, and it's all handled by real doctors. So visit Rugiet.com/LockedOnNFL and get 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNFL so they know we sent you. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves. Buffalo Bills doing a number on the Carolina Panthers, and we thought the Bills might have a nice bounce back post-bye, and boy, did they against the Panthers. Panthers fall to 4-4, still in the playoff picture in the NFC, especially with the Falcons falling off the last couple of weeks. Bills improved to 5-2 on the season and got a lot of work done on the ground, did the Buffalo Bills here, and just kind of ran all over the Panthers before they get out of town with the big W.
Yeah, that's Buffalo Bill football at this point. If you're going to let us run the ball, we're just going to run the ball all over you with the big sets, and Cook's having a great year, and they were dominant. Much like the Cousins conversation, though, I thought Dalton might make the Panthers better, and he was horrendous. I mean, he really, really looked bad in this game. And I know it's only one game, and it's a week-to-week league, but made me think the Panthers, despite being 4-4, were pretenders, not contenders, Yeah.
It makes that Panthers win over the Falcons. Remember, there was like the 30.
Maybe the Falcons just stink.
It was like I think the Panthers stink and the Falcons stink, man.
Yeah, that's possible.
That's the reality that we're in right now as we start to really see who these teams are. You know who doesn't stink is the New England Patriots. And you might say something about their offensive line giving up 5 sacks to Myles Garrett, but Myles Garrett is one of the best, if not the best, defensive player in the NFL right now. He's a generational talent, you could say. And he was not happy with 5 sacks. He was slamming his helmet on the ground. Just a really odd scene for the Cleveland Browns, and you would not expect a guy to have 3 touchdown passes, 282 yards, 18 of 24 passing, and be talking about an MVP caliber performance from a quarterback who gets sacked 5 times by one guy in a football game and beats up on the other team 32-13. Like, just bizarre what's going on with the Cleveland Browns right now. And this is why Myles Garrett said he wasn't going to sign with the Cleveland Browns. They sold him on something. A lot of people might say it's money, but even that aspect of it, Matt, he was going to get paid wherever he went. I would love to know what the sales job was for Myles Garrett to sign a long-term contract, because he was going to get money no matter where he ended up. He requested a trade. He was adamant, and then ended up re-signing. And it seems like he might regret that decision somewhat. But congratulations to Myles Garrett nonetheless. He now has the most sacks before his 30th birthday in NFL history, with 100 and I believe at 11.5 now is what he has, ahead of Reggie White's 108. And 5 sacks on the day for Myles Garrett in a loss for the Browns, who are going nowhere.
And he doesn't turn, I noticed this too, because there's always a Myles Garrett, TJ Watt battle. He doesn't turn 30 until deep into December either. So he's going to keep adding to that. I thought at the time the Browns would have been smart to trade him. I mean, multiple first-round picks or a ton of draft capital would do this team more good than what Myles Garrett does now. And I think this game exemplifies that. And I don't have the exact stat, but it's not shocking to me that of all the times in NFL history since sacks have been recorded, players that had 5 or more were always in close games. Like, the average outcome of those games is like a 3-point game. You know, it's pretty darn hard to get 5 when teams are running out the clock and not throwing. You know what I mean? And I mentioned this with the Saints. I think it's Shador time. I know it's just been a little bit, but I watch Gabriel and he just screams back up to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that 100%. By the way, TJ Watt's number 4 on the list with 101.
He just passed Watt too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Gabriel looks like a backup, which was kind of the scouting report coming out. It was, the Browns expected, maybe that's what the Browns were selling. Hey, we're going to draft a couple of guys. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on there.
They're in a bad situation. I think we're going to have to start talking about some coaching hot seats as well when we consider these have-nots around the NFL right now.
New England's beating terrible teams, but good for them. They're beating them well, and they win 10, 11 games. He's going to get some MVP votes.
Hey, they beat the Bills, so they've got
at
least one crown on their one jewel on their crown this season with a
they're
really
pretty though
big win, and just continue to play some solid football there. And love seeing what Drake May's doing as a rookie in the NFL. The Houston Texans looked really good on Sunday. And I know the 49ers are really banged up. It was a 26-15 win, and I didn't feel that close even. 5-3 49ers, though, still in a good spot. The Texans are only 3-4, but the Texans defense is legit. It might be the best defense in the NFL. They've got dudes up front. They've got dudes on the second level. They got dudes on the third level. They're coordinated really well. All they need is the offense to hold up their end of the bargain. And CJ Stroud was really good on this day. 30 of 39, 318 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns. The 49ers, with all their injuries, couldn't generate any pressure up front, which was part of that. But the offensive line played fine for the Texans, and that should be plenty to be a much better football team than the Houston Texans are right now. So maybe they're a sleeping giant and they'll figure something out, but they're just too talented top to bottom. I saw the Falcons, Texans back to back. I would take the Texans roster 10 times out of 10 over. They're better at almost every position except for running back.
Yeah, that's a great point. You nailed it. You watched this game closely. I was really I'm a Stroud believer, so I was really happy to see him have a really, really strong performance. A couple other little takeaways I had was I read this morning that they played with a 6th offensive lineman, more snaps in any game that any team did this year. They were like 26 snaps with a 6th offensive lineman. Part of me was like, it's about time. Why not help the O-line? And I also thought the Iowa State kids were pretty good. They added a little more juice to this. I kept thinking, What if you throw Nico back in there? Okay, you know.
Yeah, Jaden Higgins was fine. Jalen Noel, I think, is a really good player.
I think he's good.
Hutchinson's a solid guy. They got Braxton Berrios to do a little slot work. So, of all the teams that lose their top 2-3 wide receivers, the Texans are one of those teams that have, a pretty good, like when you have a second and third round pick just waiting to go. I mean, that's a pretty nice situation to be in. And I thought they all played pretty well too. So they were prepared for those injuries at that position more than a lot of teams might have been at this point.
Oh, is it time to worry about the Niners, D?
The 49ers have to make a trade or something if they really think they're going to contend, because you can't just have zero pass rush. And
they just don't have the horses,
as they did in this game. Yeah. Then you had Bryce Huff on top of the Bosa thing, and they'll get by without Warner, just because linebacker is a little bit easier to be like, okay, you got a guy in there that can make the calls and can run and hit a little bit. You're going to miss some in the pass coverage game, surely, but you're just a non-functional football team if you don't have dudes up front. And right now the 49ers just don't have enough dudes up front to compete. That's what that game told me.
Couldn't agree more. And don't call me Shirley.
And tomorrow we'll maybe talk about some trades.
Yeah, like
our first NFL 6-pack episode, and it'll be a lot of fun. I think we'll talk a lot about trades that could happen around the NFL. Maybe play matchmaker on about a half dozen. We'll talk Monday Night Football as well on tomorrow's episode, as we will do every Tuesday still. The format's not going to change that much, guys. Next, let's talk some more about what we saw and our takeaways from Week 8 NFL Sunday. This episode of Peacock and Williamson brought to you by Game Time. And I tell you guys every single time, you got to have the Game Time app. Download it right now, put it in your pocket, and be ready to go anytime you want to buy tickets to a sporting event, anytime you want to buy tickets to a concert. You got to check Game Time first, as I do. It's why I use Game Time. It's the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. And let's be honest, man, there's nothing better than being at the stadium, surrounded by fans. You're cheering on your team. You're going to see your favorite band, your favorite musical act, whatever, just a night out, right, at the theater. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout. It can be super frustrating. And that's why the Game Time guarantee is so important, because it's fast, easy, and you'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees at checkout, which might be my favorite part of Game Time, along with those phenomenal last-minute deals you can get on the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. The NBA is back, and there is no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. There's a reason that FanDuel is the number one sports betting app out there. And if you miss the start of a game, maybe you just want to ride the hot hand in the middle of a game, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter NBA comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. So whether it's NBA, NFL, college football, World Series baseball, right now FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com and sign up to play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, more from week 8 of the NFL season, Matt, and still some more not close football games, which is almost every single game of the weekend. Really unfortunate scene in Philly with Cam Scatterbo and the dislocated ankle. So that's going to be it for the rookie season of Cam Scatterbo. And, you hope that doesn't linger and have career-altering effects for the young runner, because he was really fun to watch for that New York Giants team, and kind of a punchless offense thereafter. 38-20 the final. Eagles improved to 6-2, and the Giants fall to 2-6. We didn't expect the Giants to win that football game, so this is just another one of those. Okay, look, the Giants just are not as good as the Philadelphia Eagles. We know the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be a good football team, and even though things have been a little weird at times, you're reminded that like, oh yeah, that's right. Barkley can go for 150 on you at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, and when you mentioned the Scatabo injury, I remember there was another rookie running back, Judkins, that got hurt, and Judkins and Schlesinger both got hurt in that Browns game. I just want to throw that out there so people know. I mean, that was like the two bright spots of the whole team. And
the Browns had going for them. They lost.
Yeah. Oh, good rookie class. These two are pretty good. Well, they're both banged up now too. And I worry that this is the beginning of the end is maybe too kind because they're 2-6 and they're not a real good football team. But I can't imagine a whole lot of bright spots going forward for the Giants. And I think the Eagles are reminding the world, kind of like the Bills, we're really good. Your line's back to being great. Barkley never missed a step. We just didn't give him any holes for the first couple of weeks of the season, and give him a crack, and he's going to take it to the house. And they're a high quality football team and organization.
After a bye, are the Ravens back, Matt?
I don't know.
16 win over the Chicago Bears. Only the second win of the season for the Ravens. They improved to 2-5. The Chicago Bears 4-3.
Yeah, and they got back to running the ball, 177 yards on the ground. Quality performance. Zay Flowers, I think, is an impact guy for them. But they still weren't rushing the passer great. I'm not blown away by the defense. And they did get a massive win without Lamar. Sounds like Lamar's probably going to play Thursday, and there was some weird practice report stuff around him. Is that enough to put them back in contention? I know we'll talk about the Steelers in a minute, but Vegas changed their tune this week and made the Ravens the odds on, or the lowest odds to win the North, which I kind of agree with. But they're 2-5.
Interesting. It's kind of a bend don't break defense for the Baltimore Ravens. The Bears were able to put up some yardage, but they weren't able to put any points on the board. Really, it was kind of the story in this game. No touchdown passes for Caleb Williams. He did have an interception. The Bears kind of dropped some opportunities at some interceptions, some big plays with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. Still no Lamar Jackson for the Ravens, but that's a great sign that the Ravens can go beat a team that's above 500, even without Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and just from a Bears perspective, I'm glad you mentioned Odunze. I think he's turning into a true one, which is a huge compliment. And their defense is the problem. I mean, they got a couple defensive injuries. They're not loaded with talent. I still think the offense, either Caleb can be a little up and down, is very much trending the right direction.
Dallas Cowboys fall to the Denver Broncos 44-24. That Cowboys defense, man, is just not good. And I don't think even if you add Max Crosby, it's going to matter. I mean, it'll be better, but they got more problems than just one defensive end, I think, on that Cowboys defense. And you had the rookie RJ Harvey going for a long touchdown scamper. 6-2 Broncos now flexing a little bit on the Cowboys.
Yeah, and we know the defense isn't good in Dallas, but they have a ton of secondary injuries. They got a lot of other things compounding it, making it even worse. And you get to the point where Dak can only do so much, and Pickens and Lamb are really strong players, but man, you got to help me out a little bit. And I wonder, is Denver turning the corner? Is Nick's turning the corner? He was a slow starter last year. They did flex a little bit here and showed, we wiped the floor at home with a okay team, average team,
Yeah, and Dak's, that MVP talk for Dak, he wasn't able to he didn't look like that guy in this game. And that was kind of one of the big things. It was just like a little bit off with CD and with Pickens, and they weren't able to put the ball in the end zone in the passing game. And so good on the Broncos for being able to limit that. So a little bit of the Broncos being better than the Cowboys, a little bit of the Cowboys not playing their best either on either side of the football.
Tough tightrope to walk for Dak and the Cowboys all year to be that precise all the time.
It probably felt pretty good moving on to the Sunday nighter for Jordan Love to have this kind of performance on the road at the Pittsburgh Steelers, with everyone talking about Aaron Rodgers all week.
Sure.
And 360 yards passing for Jordan Love, 3 touchdowns. He had one ridiculous throw where he rolled right and threw it back kind of the middle of the field, deep post across his body over one defender. It was just a really nice throw. It was a high talent throw. And the Steelers defense, Matt, continues to just allow
pretty horrid.
They're not good. What's going on?
They're terrible.
I can't remember a time in my life where it's like, man, you can count on the Steelers defense being bad.
Yeah, it's the sky is falling. I can tell you that around here. First off, I think the Packers are really good. Tucker Kraft is one of my absolute favorites, and he was the star of National Tight End Day, and is one of the next great ones with McBride and Bowers and Warren. There's a really good crop there. They get Christian Watson back. I mean, Parsons is making plays on defense. I really like where Green Bay's at, and I thought Love played a great game. But the Steelers defense, I've been joking all day today. They just give completions away like it's trick-or-treat candy. I mean, it's so easy to complete short passes, and everyone nullifies their pass rush by getting the ball out in like 2.3, 2.4, and the Steelers just take it. They don't make changes. I hesitate to say this considering they kind of employ me, but I think you have to consider a defensive coordinator change because like everyone's underachieving, and maybe the players aren't quite as good as I thought they were, but I don't think Watt and Highsmith and Ramsey and Hayward all of a sudden forgot how to play football because the defense is really
that
bad.
Doesn't add up that all of a sudden
all of them fell apart.
Group of guys you named is bad.
Yeah.
Is there like some little magic that Minkah Fitzpatrick had that, because like the things you mentioned wouldn't be something that a safety would fix necessarily,
but safety's been a weak spot, and he was always a real high quality last layer of defense. I always call him like a really good hockey goalie. He lets the defenseman play a little more offensive because I'm back here, Then great tackler, reliable. Ed Reed, Earl Thomas, did that for their teams. So yeah, I've been asked that a couple times today. Should we go back and try to get Minkah again? I'm like, well, Elliott got hurt. You could come up with worse ideas. The thing about the Steeler D is it has been from start to finish, like success rate and things like that, down to down. They're really one of the worst in the league, but their splash is so good. Tip balls, forced fumbles, interceptions, sacks, that it makes up for it in a massive way. And when they don't get it, they lose, and they didn't get it.
You mentioned Kraft, 143 yards on 7 receptions, 2 touchdowns, a 59-yarder. He's the complete package.
He's really good.
He's strong. He can block. He can give you a little after the catch as well.
He's phenomenal after the catch.
Has become the number one there for Jordan Love, and we still haven't even seen anything from that first round rookie yet. Matthew Golden. He did have 3 catches for 4 yards. They're just kind of trying to find a couple ways to get him the ball. Really spread the ball around everywhere. And welcome back, Christian Watson too.
That's what I say. What's cool about it is Dobbs kind of stepped up when everybody was hurt, and Watson shows up and makes big plays. They're talking about Jaden Reed coming back as soon as next week. Like, whoa. And if Kraft is your one, if he's like your Kittle, then okay.
The Steelers might, a little tease for tomorrow's first NFL 6-pack episode starring Peacock and Williamson. I'd have to find a match for the Steelers, but we've been talking wide receivers all year. Do they need somebody on the defensive side of the ball? Maybe we'll have to change our idea of
secondary can use some work
of what the Steelers might do at the trade deadline. We'll talk about Monday Night Football, and if you missed the beginning, I don't know how you could have, but new format here coming to Peacock and Williamson. No longer the Peacock and Williamson Show. Starting tomorrow, Tuesday, October 28th, it will be known as the NFL 6-pack, and it's a daily look at the NFL from a half a dozen different angles to take off from our 6-pack of picks that we did every week for years now. And it should be a lot of fun. So new format, stay tuned, and don't be alarmed when you see a new logo and a new name to our podcast. It is still Peacock and Williamson in just a new format. And I want to get your feedback as well. So let us know what you think about the new format, and tune in tomorrow for our first NFL 6-pack, which is going to feature not only Monday Night Football takeaways, but the NFL trade deadline. Let's do some match making. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it, Matt. And
historic day.
Yeah, historic day here on the Locked On Podcast Network and the NFL media world. Tune in. Be back tomorrow. The NFL 6-pack.